a brief actually update. The governor said that he's trying to do 100% clean energy by 2035 now and not 2050. So that's more of an aggressive push for clean energy. And also with the clean energy, we will be having 100,000 less asthma complications by the year 2030. So it's all good things, and I will share more good things as we move forward with the presentation. So just to give you guys an introduction, if you don't know already, obviously the President Biden has introduced to all of us and the state the Inflation Act that was passed in 2022. And this Inflation Act will expand these job opportunities in the state with an estimated $11.4 billion of investments nationally in a large scale and clean generation storage now and 2030. That means for all of you that manufacturers are going to employ over 240,000 workers in the state of New Jersey within the next 10 years.
Hi, everyone. My name is Luz Mendez. Thank you so much for hosting this meeting. I am very appreciative of this opportunity for this platform. When I think of clean energy, I think about the possibilities of our community to live in a healthy society, right? For our children, particularly who many of our communities, studies have shown like that bus depots and, unfortunately, really dirty air and the neighborhoods where those centers that are polluted, that's where a lot of our Latinos and Black people live. And I think that as someone who, when I went to college, I majored in political science and geography. We studied, I'm from Queens, New York, and we studied essentially areas where there was a high rate of asthma. And it turned out that I actually happened to have grown up in a neighborhood where there was a high asthma rate. And I started doing something called GIS, Geographic Information Systems, to track down why was that happening? Where were these sort of more polluted centers of concentration being placed? And interestingly enough, when decisions are being made and our folks are not at the table, not educated enough, not have enough information. Victor and I had a very good conversation about the power of data and how it is so important for our community to have studies centered around people like us, people of color, where you can go and be informed and be told, oh, it turns out that 50% of bus depots are in concentrated areas in neighborhoods where, 80% of Latinos live. Now, all of a sudden, the narrative changes. Now, all of a sudden, you can have a conversation about, well, why is that? And how is that affecting our little kids? And how is that affecting their learning? So when we think about clean energy, for me, it's a very nuanced conversation. And it is a conversation about, I think the word equity was talked about, and that's the core of it. But I love conversations about this issue around data. And so I just, my 2 cents on that front. Thank you so much.
To me, actually, clean energy is being able to use the natural resources, saving our environment around in such a way that, our kids can have a a free environment to live in, which is free of pollution, or where they don't have to worry about, running off to the natural resources like water or electricity, to that matter. As a child, I've seen like my dad used to, do a lot of these things at home. He used to cook a lot. I mean, we used to cook mostly in using solar cookers. So my mom used to save a lot on, the gas and the electricity. So we've been doing that for like last 20 years now. That kind of impacted me as a kid, how we can, do little things, these little things, how they can impact our environment in a bigger scale. Every household could do it. And on a bigger scale, we could impact the environment around us, our community.
How does that look here? Is it the same as it is in your country, or what does your cooking and your experience here look like in comparison to?
I think, I don't know. I think there's a lot of wastage here. That's what I feel. I mean, as a when I entered into this country, that's what I feel like. There are many resources here which can be used. Like, I don't know why there is no much promotion going on these solar cookers right here. Back in my country, when I was young, people used to come, and then they used to educate people on how to use these energy efficient devices at home, like these solar cookers or the solar panels above the home, which they convert the solar energy and they get in the hot water into our bathrooms. That way we don't have to use the heaters. And things like that. When people didn't have any idea about this, they used to come and educate the community. And also on the recycling, and people are so much into recycling. Back in India, they stopped using plastic bags like for 10 years now.
Yes, I think that clean energy is when we're having clean air, and not having much pollution, because in Africa, we don't have a lot of kind of those stuff. We are starting now, for sure.
And
but
it sounds to me like many of us don't even know exactly what the resources are, right? And so when we're dealing with, our children, by and large, not doing well, unfortunately, in reading and in math, right? And you have parents who are busy working, and they're trying to keep it together. How are they going to have even the energy to think about clean energy, right? And it's sad to think about that, because that does affect our health. But I think that there's so many issues that are affecting the Black and the Latino community that, unfortunately, at the forefront is healthcare, jobs, education. And the question I frankly go back to you is, how do we then prioritize before healthcare, food on the table, and jobs, and to put the environment in front of those issues? And it's a very tough thing to even say out loud, right?
Right.
But if I go down the street and I see a mom with a little kid coming out of school at 2:30, and she's got a little, grocery bag with a little empanada, and she is maybe on welfare or something, what kind of conversation am I truly going to have with her about what do you think about the environment? That mom is not thinking about the environment. That mom is thinking about, oh my Lord, what's going to happen next month when the rent comes in and I have to pay that bill. And so I think that there is, Victor and I talked about this, is like understanding our audience, understanding our community. And when you guys are wanting to do research, I think there's a real conversation about who are you trying to reach, who are you trying to convince, and ultimately, which legislators are you trying to convince to do what exactly for whom? Because there's a segment of the population that does not have the wherewithal to advocate for themselves. Time and time again, I've sat in those hiring committees, and I've always made it a very important factor to look around, to look to my left, to look to my right, because that's what my senior folks have taught me. We need to be able to pull each other up, but we need to be doing that strategically. So my thought process is that sometimes, yes, it is challenging for a number of different reasons, but one of those could be the diversity factor.
Yes.
At the hiring committee level.
Thank you so much.
As far as that diversity factor and the inclusion of the younger generation, I know I'm around a bunch of people younger than myself, and a lot of times I think it's just the information is just not passed along about what types of different jobs might be available in these fields. I know for myself, with my background, I've spoke to Cookie about it. I don't necessarily see for myself where I fit in, but I know I'm willing to, research more and to find a way, I guess, to include myself. But a lot of times where it comes to younger individuals, they might just feel they don't fit in, or it's a job that is unattainable, and they might not understand that that the opportunity is there or the information is there to find out what they can't do.
Like things that we don't think we can ask for, we can ask for, right? Like, should
Mhm.
they be giving us more opportunities for scholarships to do the certifications that we need so that people could get hired in the field? You know, it's not enough that you're submitting the resumes and you're not sure if you meet the requirements. Then if we know that's the issue, then we should make the solution, ask for the develop the solution for that issue. So
Thank you.
This is the diversity I'm talking about. We love it.
Julio, I think trying to say something, Julio?
Oh no, so just say thank you, Cookie. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Ferraro. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Muchas
you.